And welcome back, guys. I want to introduce a new format to my channel, probably called Felix Study Sundays, where I want to show you one interesting position which I came across during my own training or preparing for some lessons with students. And mostly I believe that this is going to be endgame studies, which are often a very nice tool to train calculation and which also do have the effect that typically they are quite nice to solve and there is typically quite a nice solution to them. For today, I wanted to show you this study, which you can see here on the board. This was composed, at least according to my notes, in the year 1990 from Helmuth Steniczka, who I'm actually not sure where he's from. Maybe he's even Austrian, but yeah, maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. Let me know if you have heard from that composer. And as it often is with studies, it is white to move and white has to win from this position. So if you're ambitious and want to try to solve it for yourself, you can stop the video and try that. I will actually tell you how I came across this. I was at the training session with the Austrian youth players. It was in end of August. And somewhere there, I think maybe it was another coach who was there that showed the study to us, or maybe I came across it while looking for some studies to show to the students there. Anyway, I've already given you some time now if you want to try to solve it by yourself. So now let's try to go through the solution together. So obviously black is trying to promote on the next move, after which he would just be winning. But of course, what we can see immediately is that black's king on h5 is pretty weak. So the advanced study solver will probably figure out the right first move quite quickly. The move king f6, which immediately sets up a checkmate threat. Rook takes h7 in this position. Maybe I should also mention the move rook takes d6 in the starting position, which does threaten a checkmate with rook c5, but black has a couple of ways to try and stop that. For example, king g5 would be one way to try and run out with the king. And now if rook c5 check comes, then king f4, and the king can run either to e3 or to g3, and there's no way for white to stop the pawn from queening. So after king f6, rook takes h7 is quite a big threat. And black only has one serious way to stop that for the moment, which is the very enterprising move rook b7. The problem is that if black would play the move h6, which of course is also a very natural way to stop the checkmate. Again, if you have missed this line, you can try to think here on your own. How can white now win? Because there's actually only one way, but it does end the game on the spot. There is a nice tactical shot, rook c5 check in this position, and if black takes, then there's rook d5. This is probably one of the most important motives from the study. And here it just works, and black is losing immediately. So that's why rook b7 is quite a nice way to try and defend against that. And only now, after rook takes b7, now to go for the move h6. Because now this rook c5 does not work because the rook is not on d7, and therefore there is no checkmate. And on the next move, we can just queen with the pawn on d1. And something like rook e7 would be too slow. I mean, for example, h3 would work, but also rook e1 just blockading the e file, and on the next move we can get a new queen. So that was the line until now. King f6. Black should try rook b7. Rook takes b7, and only now h6. So now rook c5 doesn't work. What else can white do? Rook d3 is the only way to proceed from here on. Now again, rook d5 is a checkmate threat, but black can of course take another queen on d1. And now again, how can white win from this position? And there's only one way to do so. Otherwise, white actually might be lost. Like if you would just take on d1 and go for this endgame, maybe white has some drawing chances, but it looks quite close because black is 2 pawns up and the king is still in a little bit of danger, but it's probably gonna get out soon. And also black is quite fast to pick up the g2 pawn. Or also h3 could come and then the king would be activated. So in this position, white only has one move to win, and it's quite a nice one. It's a move rook b1. And now the issue is if black takes on b1, then again rook d5 is going to be checkmate because the queen is not covering the d5 square anymore. So queen f5 check and rook takes f5 is just a mate. And if black takes on d3, now we can see the whole point. Taking on h1 is not sufficient because now it's not a check or anything, and black is just a queen up. and he would be winning. But instead, there's one pretty nice intermediate move, the move g4. Black has to take en passant, the only move in the position, and now rook takes h1, ends the game in style. So it was quite a short study, I would say, but maybe not the most well-known one. I mean, many of you for sure have seen some studies by Richard Reti, for example, those famous motives. But when I saw this in August, I think I haven't seen the study before, so I thought I would show it to you, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Also, let me know what you think about this format. This video has been quite short, at least compared to some other videos on my channel. Still hope that you enjoyed this small video, small study. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care and see you soon.